The election results are in.
And Nebraskans have voted overwhelmingly to require a photo ID be presented at the polls when voting. Channel 8's Matthew Mittleider has more details in our top story tonight.
At the Nebraska GOP's post-election conference on Wednesday, one of the goals discussed was what's next for the voter ID initiative in the state. Todd-Watson says there's a lot of talk around the country about election security, and the Nebraska-Republican-Party is not deaf to it.
We need to have the tough conversations. The citizens need to have confidence that their elections are secure. And a lot of our brothers and sisters in many other states of the union didn't come close to meeting their expectations last night and are frustrated. They do not trust the elections. That's just a fact.
Back in February, Nebraska Secretary-of-State Bob-Evnen rejected claims of voter fraud in the 2020 election and said not only are voter registration lists updated almost daily, Nebraska spent $7 million in 2019 to update its ballot counting system.
Everybody knows that voter ID is a form of voter suppression. It's sad to see that so many people feel that, we should have to show our IDs at the polls when our Secretary of State has stated that we have safe elections here in Nebraska.
When asked why voter ID would be needed, despite little to no evidence of widespread voter fraud, Watson said the issue is more about the many voters and Republicans questioning election integrity and wanting to restore their trust in the process. Watson says state senators are going to be meeting to work out what a voter ID will look like and how it will be implemented. Officials anticipate it won't require a new ID just for voting, but rather using an ID such as a driver's license. Opponents of voter ID say it's unnecessary and could prevent eligible voters from casting a ballot, particularly people of color, those with disabilities, and people in rural areas.
Because our IDs in Nebraska are not cheap. Our IDs can run you up to $30. So what is the state going to do now? What is Jim Killen going to do to help compensate so those people can get to the polls and still be able to vote? How does that work with vote by mail? How does all these things work? And I don't think that they sat down and thought about that when they brung this bill up.
Reporting in Lincoln, Matthew Mittleider, Channel 8 News.
Nebraska will now be added to the 35 other states who currently have some form of voter ID law.